Okay, so can I be honest about the One Piece? And I'm not talking about the treasure itself, I'm talking about the One Piece, the remake anime, because a new trailer, or the first official trailer, I guess you would say, is out for the One Piece, and there's murmurings out there, there's chatter out there about the trailer, so to speak. But I want to kind of say what I'm feeling, and I ain't gonna lie, I ain't trying to lead with love right now. Like, we're gonna get to some of the love, because, you know, you gotta balance things out with love and hate or whatever. But I just want to start off straight away with saying how I feel, and be honest. You know what I'm saying? Can I be honest? Can I keep it real for a moment? Can I just be, you know, genuine about what it is? You know what I'm saying? Because based off the trailer, one of the first things that you see with this trailer, mind you, this thing has been in production for quite some time now, right? But one of the things, is the first things that you see is the fact that they're gonna be utilizing CGI, 3D CGI from the trailer is what we got so far. And actually, scratch that. Before we even get into the fact of the visuals that they're using, you know, essentially how they're maneuvering with this thing, let's talk about the fact of what this is. And what I mean by that is, it's a reset. Yo, like, let's be very clear. Again, I didn't come to lead with love. This ain't Joe Budden right now. Shout outs to Joe, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't come to lead with love. I came to just keep it real. And yo, if you want more of these type of videos or whatnot, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications, and yo, drop a like too while you're at it. That really would help right now, because I know people are probably gonna be like, yo, this guy's, he's getting too, you know, he's going too hardcore, he's going too ham, he's getting too real with it. But who would I be if I wasn't being, you know what I'm saying, honest, genuine, and real? This is essentially another reset of this whole journey and adventure. What I mean by that is, if you've been following at all, or you even know about, for that matter, the One Piece anime, there's like 1100 episodes. If you've been following or know of at all the One Piece manga, it's like 1200 chapters. If you've been following or know at all about the One Piece live action, it's already a couple seasons in, and they got plans for like 7 seasons or something like that. So, mind you, stepping into this thing alone, this is a reset yet again to start the journey all over from the beginning. So if you're caught up, or you know of anything for that matter that is happening in some of the latest events of the story, of the anime, of the manga, the villains that's happening, what island they're on, things of that nature, then coming to this, it's like, hey, starting from the beginning again. So, you know what I'm saying? All of the features that you essentially have obtained from being all the way, you know what I'm saying, caught up or knowing of what's happening, they all seemingly get wiped away, and you start from square one again with this. So if you're one of those people, and I'm kind of like somewhat in that boat of feeling that way, you're not gonna feel happy about this. You're not gonna feel good about starting yet again. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, not everybody has experienced all of the forms of this story, of this scenario, of this, the One Piece. And I'm not just talking about now the remake. Not everybody has experienced this story in all of its formats or whatnot. But I ain't gonna lie, the thought of it is just a little daunting to me. It's like, bro, who wants to keep on starting over and over from the beginning? I get it, the whole thing of, you know what I'm saying? Mind you, this is supposed to be a journey of some way. You're supposed to get enjoyment out of this thing, right? Obviously, you know, if you read or experienced the story at all, then of course you've had enjoyment. What I mean by that is, starting over again is not a fun thing. And starting over and over and over again is not a fun thing. And mind you, if it's a fact of life, sure, yeah, you know, sometimes you got to keep on trying and trying again and whatnot. But damn it, this is not, you know what I'm saying, starting over again. On top of the fact that, based on the information, seemingly it's going to only go up to when they meet Sanji, when they meet the blonde. That's it. It's going to be 7 episodes, but they're going to be like lengthy episodes. I don't know if it's 40 minutes each or an hour long, because they're going to be, I think the total runtime is like 300 minutes. You're going to get all of the episodes all at once. So you're going to have straight away, you could go straight into the journey. You don't got to be, you know, on a week-to-week basis or whatnot. So that's something that's good there, right? Mind you, again, though, that this thing hasn't been in production for quite some time. So, you know, it took them this long, and they're still not even ready necessarily for this reset again, so it's not even going to technically start. Like, production is happening right now, but it technically won't even be readily available until next year. Like, I ain't gonna lie, this is one of my things about One Piece, where it's such a great story, and the contents of it, the artistic expression, everything about those things is what makes One Piece why it is so popular, why it is so beloved. There's no question about that. Like, there's nothing I can say here right now that will be genuine to take away from why One Piece is greatness. We understand that part. I think the consensus is, yo, One Piece is greatness, right? Many have been in this thing for, whether you've been in this thing for 2 or 3 years, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, however long. Well, no, One Piece hasn't been going on for 30. However long you've been in this on this ship, so to speak, this boat or whatnot, we get it that it's a great story and all that. But these constant resets is something that is a very big turnoff. Mind you, the trailer, for the most part, the visuals and what you can only imagine this is going to look like, of course, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The small teaser trailer we got, you get to see kind of very basic beginnings, so to speak, for the One Piece or whatnot. They did utilize 3D, you know, CG, so to speak, and I was like, come on, really? You know what I'm saying? Because this has been in preparation for a while now. Why are we even needing to utilize that? On top of that, this is supposed to be, you know, the supreme best version of this story. Like, this is supposed to be the creme de la creme. This is supposed to be the top of the line, the best version that you're going to experience of One Piece. Like, that's the way that it's been marketed and promoted thus far. This isn't with the filler. This isn't going to be with stretched out lengthy episodes. This isn't going to be like, you know, how the live action has to take massive deviations. This is supposed to be the supreme version of the story, of the journey. So I say all that to say that, for the most part, there shouldn't be any missteps. There shouldn't be anything where, there shouldn't be any room, for the most part, for, you know, negative criticism. And yet, you know, the visuals off the rip is like, different, this is not what we expected, what? I mean, overall, does it look amazing and beautiful? Does it look good? Does it look enticing? Yeah, there's no denying what they shown in the trailer. It does look incredible, especially in comparison to the older days of the, you know, original and the currently running One Piece anime, you know, the olden episodes and whatnot. Yeah, they were a bit rough. There's no denying that, whatnot. In comparison, this is like, whoa, this looks amazing. This is beautiful. This is, oh, but damn it, I ain't gonna lie. There's already some things that I'm looking at as, like, I don't want to say missteps, but 7 episodes, you're only going up to Sanji. And like I said, I wasn't going to lead with love, but I ultimately was going to lead to love, because there are some things and some positives to note about this. For starters, for newbies, which there will always be newbies to any journey, let alone, of course, this journey, the One Piece or whatnot, this is probably going to be the best way to experience the story, unless you know, are more of a manga person or whatnot. But this is probably going to be that. For newbies, you'll be able to binge those 7 episodes, even though story point, like, is that a great place to stop? You know what I'm saying? Is that a great place to go on hiatus until the next season or whatnot? There's that debatable. But for newbies, this is going to be an excellent thing. Like, that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? If you're a massive One Piece nerd, and I don't mean nerd in a bad way, because I don't know why people take the word nerd as like, it's like something wrong with that. Like, it's okay to be a nerd. I promise you, nobody's gonna jump out of the fucking sky and start strangling you if you're a nerd. I promise that it's okay to be a nerd. Don't worry about it. I got, if anything else fails, you know what I'm saying? How does it go? Tupac cares if don't nobody else care. When it comes to that nerd stuff, Fornev cares if don't nobody else care. All right? It's okay to be a nerd. I promise you. Either way. I said all that to say that for the newbies, this is going to be an excellent version. This is going to be probably the best way to start this thing, assuming that it continues onward. Because again, if it's taken all this time to put this thing together, it's still not even ready yet. It's not ending at the most best point to end it at for this first season or whatnot. Will it get renewed for more? Mind you, this is not studio, you know, this is not Toei Animation. That Toei Animation, they got that old money. What I mean by that, they got the Dragon Ball money. They got the, you know what I'm saying, the Sailor Moon money, Precure. Like, they got that old money to be able to gamble it a bit. Studio Wit, while yeah, that's the same studio that brought you Attack on Titan, and from my understanding, some of the people that are behind this thing are involved from, you know, high places that have done great things. So again, there's a positive there to that. But will this studio, depending on the success of this thing, mind you, Netflix is involved and whatnot, which some people might take that as but at the very least, money-wise, hey, you got, you know, money behind you, right? It's Netflix or whatnot. But the studio that is behind this thing, they're basically like, this is a big gamble, you gotta argue, you know what I'm saying? They were the same people that they kind of switched over, from my understanding, the original rights to Attack on Titan after like the first few seasons, because they couldn't handle it, so they had to give it to Studio Mappa. So again, this is a very, very important task, and it's very important that this thing succeeds if they want more to keep on going of this One Piece thing. But considering all of the things that took place to get to this point, it's debatable on how this is all gonna play out. Like, I'm gonna just be honest with you. For a veteran, for a pro, for somebody that's been around this journey for far too long, some might argue of like, yo, dog, Oda, when does it end? When does he become Pirate King? It's probably not the most enthusiastic that you're gonna feel about this. Yeah, the trailer looks pretty good outside of the beginning points or whatnot, and especially in comparison to the old stuff, it's like, oh my god, this is god tier, you know what I'm saying? But as far as, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to just completely be like, I know I said I'm going to lead to love, but when it comes to One Piece right now, will I actually give it a try? Probably. Like, unlike certain other stuff within the One Piece medium that I'm not going to get into, that is kind of like, I don't know if I'll, you know, give it a try or whatnot. The One Piece remake, it's like, it's enticing, it seems exciting, it's just maybe more so, and I want you guys' input on this. Is it because of being on this journey for so long that it's kind of hard for myself to get reinvigorated about it? And what would it take, do y'all think, to get somebody that is, again, maybe some might argue jaded to this whole journey, to get them back excited about this journey again, you know what I'm saying? And for newbies, are you looking at me like, yo, what are you talking about? This is the most exciting thing ever. You know, it's gonna take us 6,000 years to catch up to the anime based on the pacing that we got right now. But yeah, and your overall thoughts and expectations for the One Piece remake. I gotta be honest here. I gotta be honest and say that I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm not sure why this is happening, this big reset with this thing, when, mind you, the story is still going right now in the manga and the anime. It's not like the manga is over. Like, you know how many stories could really use a remake of Studio Wit's caliber? That it would just be like, oh my god, like, where's the Tokyo Ghoul remake? Am I alone on this thing? Yo, where's the Magi remake? You know what I'm saying? Why are we remaking One Piece while it's still going, and then giving 7 episodes leading up to the Blonde? Like, I don't know. That's all I have for this one. I'm Tim. As always, people, have an awesome day. Peace in.